Hey everybody, it is episode 351.
Holiday stress affecting your kids. Let's get into it. Hey everybody, welcome back to the Prime Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Skip Wies, and as always, I have my beautifully, wonderfully radiant expert host, Dr. Julie Wies, with me. Brilliant host, whatever, radiant, beautiful. We're talking holiday stress today, Dr. Julie, and more importantly, the stress on kids. The holidays are tough. Now, this can be relevant in summer holidays, over Easter, July, with 4th of July, over their birthdays, and particularly getting into these Christmas months. This can get super stressful on families.
I just think any type of event can be stressful for this population, even if it's a birthday party, even if it's going to a gathering. Hey, even if it's like going to Hobby Lobby on Saturday.
Yeah, it can have a lot on kids.
Yes.
And stress on kids is literally skyrocketing. It's freaking skyrocketing. It's through the roof. We have kids that come in this office at Prime Family Centers all the time with anxiety issues. Hell, there are people directly posting on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. Are there chiropractors that specialize in de-stressing the nervous system? Holy crap. We've seen 6 of those posts in the last probably 4 months where the public is literally asking for someone out there to de-stress the nervous system, which is what we've done since 1895. Yet there are people actively looking for it now, and nobody is ready to pick up the ball.
Well, and I think that's the difference between chiropractors, right? There is the nervous system, brain-based, or there is no judgment. There's nothing wrong, and there are those that you go to when you were in pain for a quick fix, and then you'll see them again in 6 months or whenever you need it.
And they're okay with that.
Correct. And that's what I'm saying, for whatever works for you. But when we start talking about stress, this isn't something that just happened overnight. This is something that builds up. And so chiropractic is there for that build up, as it's building up, as you're going through it, but then also for the longevity, right? Because stress doesn't just happen like once or twice. It's something that keeps popping up. And when we can regulate the nervous system, when we can teach our bodies how to regulate that, it allows us to be able to grow and develop how we're supposed to, and how we can assess our environment so then we don't just quickly fly off the handle, right? It allows us to be able to assimilate into the world as better people.
So what you're saying is the nervous system is super stressed when there's subluxation.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's the one thing that parents need to really understand, and with themselves as well. And you can't feel this. Like, you can feel the stress, you can feel the anxiety. I have a patient that I take care of. He's in once a week. He's a Marine. He's a wonderful person. And he will, if he misses his appointments, he will come in and say, dude, my anxiety is uncontrollable right now. Like, I feel like I am going to literally jump into traffic. My body is just going crazy. And he's not going to do that. But that was what he's telling me. That's his descriptor. And the kids are the same way, but they don't know how to vocalize it. They don't know how to tell you. They don't have a vocabulary to tell you that they're stressed, or they don't know what stress actually feels like, so they can tell you like what's going on. They will just scream. They will get super annoyed with you. They easily fly off the handle. They easily get upset, just like you do as an adult. Like, take everything that you feel when you're stressed as an adult and how you react to those situations, whether you're short with your spouse, you're short with your wife, you don't understand what's going on, or you're super stressed and you just shut down and go home and eat like crazy, or you just go and do weird shit, weird stuff, and it's because your body's super stressed. And then what happens over time is, as that stress stays long enough, you start to feel normal again. And that's not okay.
Well, and meanwhile, your organ systems are beginning to shut down, right? Like we need to start thinking of our bodies as computers, because our brain is the central computer, right? And so just like in any type of a situation, we need suppression systems. If something is off wire, if something is like that red alarm is going off, suppression systems within our bodies are going to come online to then bring those areas down,
Mhm.
right? And so that's how our body's shutting down. That is the stress on our heart. Those are our adrenal glands not working how they're supposed to. Our libido, our sex drive, our constipation, all of these things, right? Because right now the body is in just like this state of shock. It's being stressed that it needs to shunt energy away from these other things.
Mhm. And when we're over sensory, so what's happening is the inside of your body is stressed. Its senses are going crazy.
Mhm.
And the thing that actually sends sensory out for your body is the vagus nerve. Most people will say that the vagus nerve is the major social regulating thing in your body. Like it actually regulates your stress, it regulates how you talk to people, all these things based on stress. And they assume that it controls everything. No, it's a sensory nerve. It's 80% sensory, it's 20% control. So our moms out there that really know this stuff because their kids have dealt with ADD, ADHD, anxiety issues, autism for probably a decade. Most of these kids are now 10, 11 years old, that moms really become versed in what's going on. Those first few years are you're just finding data and help groups, and then you try to figure this stuff out. But this vagus nerve thing, this vagus is sensory. And if it is sensing too much sensation, so it's over sensing everything and sending it back to the brain then gets super overwhelmed because it's in sensory overload. And now the body shuts down. And that vagus nerve is directly correlated with anxiety, with stress, with ADD, ADHD. And you will see videos on YouTube talking about how do you calm your vagus nerve down, or how do you stimulate your vagus nerve to then get your vagus to start calming your body. Well, the vagus is already overstimulated.
Mhm.
So how do you destimulate it? Some will say that they'll do this counterclockwise rotation with their ears and they'll hum. There is some effectiveness to that. But what they're trying to do is stimulate this area of the neck. Your vagus nerve it's a cranial nerve, so it sits inside of your skull. It sits in the vault. Then it exits through the hind part of the skull and then comes down by your first vertebra in your neck, second vertebra in your neck, scoops around that, and then starts going out into your body. If you have subluxation in your upper neck, which we talked about sleep last episode, that's going to affect this vagus nerve. And you hit it on the head. When the body gets overstressed, your cortisol goes through the roof. And that is a major fight or flight survival neurotransmitter chemical in your body. It's designed for survival, but you're not trying to survive every day.
You shouldn't
especially in this society.
Right.
Like you live in a first world country here in the United States. You think your life is bad? Go live in a third world country where you literally have to fight for food. Like that's survival.
But when you look at the longevity for those people,
It's higher.
They have a higher, like they're living longer
Their
than
death
us.
rates are different.
Correct.
Their death rates are different.
Yeah.
And that's a huge thing because our bodies are so overstressed in this type of environment. What we choose to put our bodies through, what we choose to throw in front of our faces every day. And I'm not trying to call the kettle steel. What I'm trying to say is that these things right here cause extra stress, and we've all become more reliant on them. Hell, I've got a digital list over talking points here. Like it's right here on my phone. I could have printed it out, but it's right here. So it's just getting to know and understanding these stress triggers. What do you think are some of the major stress triggers in kids right now over the holidays?
Just the people, right? People come in, and I think if we would start to think of this as an adult, like if you've ever walked up to somebody, right, and you're just like, ooh, like their energy just is like really strong, or like, ooh, I like that energy. Our kids are much more sensitive to that.
Yeah.
And so big groups of people, even if it's family, right, everybody has a lot of energy. And when that is like going through that child, that can just like really set them up for a storm, right? Not knowing if they're going to retaliate, if they're going to shut down, if there's going to be a tantrum. And then it's just like, oh, give a hug here, give a kiss here, make sure you say thank you. And it can be it's overwhelming as an adult, right? And so you need to like quadruple that for a child to not know like what's happening in this environment. And there's some that like thrive off of that type of energy, but typically after everybody will leave, you'll notice that that child then is like shutting down or
Or
quiet.
hard shut down.
They like totally disappeared, or they sleep like they just like they fell asleep. I don't know. They passed out because all of their energy was sucked out with everybody else's.
Most little children are narcissists by normal, so they're self-absorbed because they are.
That's all they
That's not
know.
a negative thing. That's all they know. It's themselves. Which, if more people were like that, I think we'd be a better society. But also, they're empaths, so they feel a lot of people's emotional dysregulation to begin with. So you've got drunk Uncle Chuck showing up, and then you've got drunk Aunt Nancy there. Like, these massive things change the way their kids regulate. We had our nephew over for the holidays, and we kept him busy, but not with super loud things. Like, we had a fort built for him. He had toys that didn't make a lot of
So it's like
noise.
that's where
He
like
had
for a
play
kid in
toys.
this instance, say like the holidays, right? Something that if your child is just easily overstimulated, but you also don't want to hide him away. So
Yep.
we knew that
We
ahead
knew
of
that.
time.
Yep.
So we have the stuff to make a fort, right? So making a fort is cool. It's for a boy, it's for a girl. But then we put the sheet over it. So then it was tucked away. It was quiet in there,
Yep.
and it was also a darker space to then just allow that person to kind of like crawl in there. They're still around everybody else, but then they also get their safe space a little bit away from all of that energy.
Yeah, and then he's going to want an adult to come in there with him. Like, we knew that for a fact. He was going to ask Brecken in there.
That's the
He
fun
was going to
part.
ask Peyton in there. Peyton made it. She's got pictures with him. And he's the sweetest boy. And he's such a nice kid. He's just a sweetheart. But he likes to be around people, and he likes people to come do stuff with him, which means that he wants one-on-one interaction, not group stimulation. I think that is another big thing as well, is at the holidays, it's tons of groups. There's tons of people. There's loud voices. Like I said, there's lots of different opinions going on. And somebody might just come into that house on a bender already, emotionally, not alcohol-wise, hopefully, but emotionally, and already be keyed up or already be upset because the house looks a certain way, or maybe you didn't eat at the right time, or, like all of these things.
Some people's voices are just louder
Like mine.
and more authoritative, right? So in how people say things. So like a tone can set something off, that when that tone is maybe said by like a mom or dad, that means like it's a punishment or you did something wrong. So just of the tone and all, just, if they're in a new space, a new location, right? That's all new. So if you have a child that they're, stepping place into, if it's a restaurant, if it's a building, somebody's home, ask for some photos beforehand.
Yeah. Yep.
Right. So then there's some people that don't understand, they're going to be like, well, what the heck for? But if you can share those pictures and be like, okay, this is the tree. This is what it's going to look like. These are the people that are going to be here. And then have that photo book of like, here's your aunt and uncle, here's grandma and grandpa, here's your cousins. That will, in essence, right, take all of that surprise and all that worry and confusion away, because as they're walking into the house and be like, oh yeah, mom told me about that tree. Dad said so-and-so is going to be here. And that can, before we even step into that situation, de-escalate everything. So as people show up, they're looking to see, oh yeah, so-and-so is here. It's like those little picture books, right? But you've already prefaced it of what it's going to look like, what it's going to sound like, the foods that's going to be eaten. So we've taken away all of the surprise, which then can naturally calm the body. I mean, but teens, adults are the same
way. Like, I absolutely, like, over this last week, we had people over for the holidays here, and everybody was downstairs watching the football game, going nuts, hollering and stuff. Where was I? I was upstairs in our office watching the game. But who came and sat by me? Peyton, our daughter. Like, Peyton was already done. And she told me at the end of the day, like, I am peopled out. I'm like, yeah, there's a lot of there's a lot of energy. And she's an adult. She's 17. Brecken's the same way. He's going to be 15 here shortly in a few weeks. They're young adults, and they know what those feelings are, but little kids don't. And they don't have those safe places to go. They don't have those dysregulation things. And holiday toys is another one. Like, when we give kids holiday toys, a lot of these things that are digital give a lot of noise. kind of fun and hilarious to give kids that
was
stuff
just
just
thinking
to
that.
tick parents off. Like the best thing are those damn VTech toys that take thousands of batteries and they're loud and they're obnoxious to mess with parents.
But I think once you have a child or once you understand what that overstimulation feels like, of finding like, it's really like the old school toys, right?
Yeah.
Start with like nothing electronic.
Mhm.
I mean, go back to puzzles, go back to blocks, go back to books, those types of things, which, in the moment are kind of like, well, it's not something fancy and gizmo gadget, but those things are like all over the place now. So it's, to find something that like, oh, that actually calms me, do that to interact
Wood
with.
toys are back.
Yeah.
Non-painting things, natural toys, getting a kid a ball and letting them play with it.
Be athletic,
Be
yes.
athletic, or like actually, if it's cold out, bundle them up and get them outside. There's nothing wrong with a fart walk. There's nothing wrong with like after you
I was
eat,
thinking nature hike.
destimulation walk.
Yeah.
Like there's nothing wrong with
Yeah.
that. And
It's
even as an
important.
adult, it's huge. And actually seeing those nonverbal cues from your spouse or your kids is really important to understand too. If you notice that the kid is actually screaming a lot, they're oversensitized. So what's happening is they're trying to get the energy out. And because people are loud, they're trying to match that energy and trying to get it out of their body. Or they'll sit there and they'll jump up and down and they'll stim. Like those are all signs that that kid is overstimulated. So all we have to do, it's really simple. We just remove them from the stimulation and get them something else that triggers a different part of their brain, whether it's doing things that are creative, so coloring, a craft, maybe wrapping some presents instead of tearing them apart, organizing things, showing them, like getting them measuring cups and have them stack them together and then take them apart, and like bringing them in on things that calm them down and make their brain think and create.
And that's the important part, because usually in this moment, this is when a phone or a tablet gets handed over, which in the short term will change their attention, right? They probably will stop throwing the tantrum or the fit or the overstimulation, but it is leading to something bigger in like the next half an hour or an hour.
And that's, I applaud my sister-in-law and brother-in-law with that, because when things were getting a little out of control with him, they didn't give him a phone or a tablet. We just took him somewhere else, or we went upstairs and we got in the fort, like or he just wandered off, which is fine. And then you just kind of go find him, and as long as he's not burning his hand on the fireplace and he's looking at things, like let their little minds run. And the last thing you want to do is give them a phone or an iPad. I know that they help you as the parent. I really do get that. I understand it. But also what that's doing then is it's resetting their brain. And it's making them more stimulated. The blue light is really affecting their eyes in a negative way. And now we've got an overstimulated, exhausted kid, which will lead you to a meltdown in the car. Like it will. It'll lead to something. It'll lead to a full meltdown when they leave. It'll lead to something that just makes the whole evening turn on its head. Poor sleep, that's a big one. They'll get home and they can't get to sleep.
You wonder why. Well, we've been around all these people, like I'm exhausted, and you would want that baby or that child, that toddler, you would think that they would just pass out. And when they do maybe pass out for that little window, it's out of sheer exhaustion, but it's not the sleep. And so that's where then they're going to wake up, keyed more up when you're ready to go to bed. And then that's where I don't understand. They won't go to sleep. Like we've done all of these things because again, they're overstimulated. So there is that gentle, like too much is too much, but that fresh air will definitely help. The calm, go back to their bedroom routine that we talked about, or the nighttime routine, and to just kind of equip yourself with those, because these next couple of weeks, right, we know already that we're gearing up towards more stress, more things that we're going to handle. But sometimes the best gift that we can give one another is just a calm, no agenda day, lots of snuggles. Find a game to play together as a family, and just enjoy each other rather than being in the hustle and bustle.
That's exactly what you need. We don't have to be going all the time.
There doesn't have to be presence.
And sometimes it's just being with each other. Like most of the time, it's just being with each other. And then the fun stuff happens. The jokes, the quirkiness of your kids, all that fun things. And then you realize the people in your life that you care the most about are actually some of the funnest people to hang out with. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode this week. There's plenty more to come. Absolutely love talking about these things around the holidays. And if you need anything from us, just reach out. We're here for you, and spread the word. This is another good one. Decreasing stress in kids over the holidays. We know that this is hard. So take care, everybody. Have a great week. Bye, everyone.